Hello and welcome to another edition of Droppin Baums with me, your host, Corey Baumeister. As always, brought to you by the lovely folks over at Star City Games, bringing you the best in trading card needs, tournaments. They do it all. They do it all. All right, so speaking of doing it all, I am bringing you Temur Clover, courtesy of Aaron. I don't want to butcher this name. Aaron Gertler. Sorry if I butchered your name there, Aaron. But Aaron just won the $30,000 DreamHack tournament this last weekend by heavily metagaming against the very powerful and my personal favorite, Blue-White Control in Standard. This deck destroys it. If you're sick of losing to Blue-White Control on the ladder, this is the deck for you. Oh my, is this deck just absolutely powerful. And the tools are there to have a really long game against basically any deck. Innkeeper and Lucky Clover are just unbelievable in this deck. I think this deck is the real deal moving forward. It's kind of establishing a rock, paper, scissors metagame now, where before I just didn't think that was the case. I just thought Blue-White Control was by far the best, and there wasn't really a rock, paper, scissors metagame. It was just like the decks are somewhat close, so you can compete with the deck, but this is a deck that just outright smashes it. It does get beat down by red pretty badly. So you really have that rock, paper, scissors metagame like I was talking about. But without any further ado, let's get to the games. You can fast forward to any of the matches here below, as well as head to the deck tech. But I do give away spoilers in the deck tech of how we did during the rounds and things I would change going forward. But yeah, that's about all I got. Let's head on to round number one. We'll see you there. All right, welcome to round one here with Temur Clover. We're on the play, so you gotta love that. This deck looks like an absolute delight to play, so I'm pretty pumped about this. And I think this is definitely a keeper. Being able to go Innkeeper, by far the best one drop. And then Clover is by far the best two drop, so you gotta love this. All right, so we very happily want to take two here. Get this down. There is some thought to waiting. Depending on what we're playing against, but I usually like getting it down on turn one. Okay, so there is Faye. Now we're just going to jam this Lucky Clover. Very likely Jeskai fires, I would assume here. We might just jam Faye next turn because it's pretty hard to kill. But we could also wait for Granted to be able to get two cards from our board. I'm going to make sure I do this, and you should all make sure the same. Whenever you have this up, especially if you're playing on Arena, make sure you just have what your sideboard is, just to make sure for Fae targets here. So we're going to bring in the Pain. Think it's better to just wait and Granted here. It's close, because if Teferi hits and they bounce this, then it feels kind of bad. So all right, we're going to just play. I just want to make a play this turn. And this lives through Clarion, so I'm not playing into that. So I think this is fine here. All right, now we want to scry for action here. Any adventure card would be fine. That's an adventure card. It is a double Rapid Growth with Lucky Clover out. And very likely to be our play next turn. Oh, this deck is a delight. Okay, so definitely Jeskai fires. Clarion is decent because it takes care of our Innkeeper, but we're not going to draw with it for a while anyways. So it's not insanely important. Okay, that's even better. Okay. So, yep, let's just do this. We are going to do some ramping. Let's get one blue and one green. Now we can activate this if we really want to, which we actually might. We're gonna attack. We can discard the two lands and then play Escape the Wilds. Now what we don't want to see, of course, this turn is the Fires of Invention. That just allows for the degenerate turns for them to happen. Okay, that's nice. Yep. Now it'll be interesting if we're supposed to return this, because we could just Granted, but I think no matter what, we want to deploy more threats this turn. So I think we will just draw. Now I don't really like just casting Beanstalk Giant, just because if it gets bounced with Teferi, sure, we do get the ability still. We get to reuse the ability again, but I don't think that's good enough right here. I think I would rather get a bunch of cards. Okay, so now we can play 2 lands. 1, 2. Adventure this. Now we hope we have one more blue. Dang it. It's unfortunate we drew another island here, but that's okay. We're going to bring in the pain, and we'll be able to discard this next. All right, and we're getting somewhat close. I guess we can just grant it with this, so we don't even necessarily need to discard. Now we can just granted, double granted next turn. Probably going to be the play. All right. I've been playing Fey of Wishes in a lot of decks and a lot of formats. Okay, Teferi. Not afraid of that one. Either of these bounce targets are not a big deal. Okay. So we're gonna likely replay that. Now, we have one more Beanstalk Giant here. So we can play Clover, search, get 2 lands, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we can Fey as well. So I think that's what we want to do here. So this is the only one that is still on an adventure, the one with the mana cost here. We're going to search. All right, a couple more lands. All right, now we're going to granted. Okay. God, this deck does so many things. All right, so what do we want here? Spyglass is okay. I like Return to Nature right now as just a way to deal with fires. It's kind of how things get carried away, so I might as well do that. How many lands did we have untapped? Okay, I think we did play a land too. So, ooh, yes. Okay, we can do this. Oh, this is insane. Okay, Mystical Repeal and Disdainful Stroke here is absolutely busted. We didn't play a land already, so I could have went for the other one. But that is still a-okay. Let's get this out of here. Now we want to deal with Teferi. This deck is so fun. Deal with Teferi. And now we'll just go Stomping Ground tapped and say, oh. All right, now these are all on adventures. We are doing some things, y'all. We are doing some things. And now we got a couple extra lands just to get rid of. We will take it. And our life total is getting a little precarious, so we got to start taking some measures. Like, we probably want to attack with Fey next turn. Now, Teferi is like what we don't want to see. Teferi would not be ideal. That's okay. Now, we're probably going to get something to deal with the board here. With granted. All right. Saying go. Okay, so I think I still want to return this. What could they have? I don't think much. So we're going to return this. Okay. Now, I think we want to start with granted. I want just something to deal with these. Let's granted. Let's just try to close as many doors as possible here. So we can just get Chandra. Chandra seems like the ideal pick here. Chandra and Aether Gust or something. So definitely Chandra. I wouldn't mind another counter spell. Just like a negate, just in case they try to answer back at us here. Which there's not much they can have, realistically. Yeah, let's go like this. Okay, -3. These are not elementals, right? Yeah, okay, I didn't think so. All right, so deal 3 to each creature. Get those out of there. Now, oops. Now we want to get a couple of these. Couple of 1/1s, and then we'll say go here. And And it just looks like we casually have 9 cards, but that's just how Temur Clover works. That's pretty good. You know, don't know anything for that. So they get to kill Chandra now. Yeah, Brazy B. I haven't seen a ton of lists playing Brazen Bar lately, but makes sense. Interact a little bit better. But that's not that big of a deal. Like, we'll lose Chandra, but then we can just play a Fae. And now we're just going to start dropping giant creatures here. Got to counter that. Yeah, now, like I said, we're probably just going to drop, just start playing as many creatures as possible and hold up Stroke. Something like Kenrith or something is like the only way I could truly see losing this one. Okay. That's kind of lame. All right. So, now we could just Fae and bounce. Don't think I like that. I think I just like Fae and just doing a setup turn here. We got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 mana. So I think we'll go like this. Try to hit an Innkeeper. Or Brazy B is pretty good here. Innkeeper's got to be better. All right, now let's start drawing some cards. Okay. Let's draw more cards. I want 2 Faes down just in case they bounce one. Ooh. All right, so now what if we get this? Okay. If we get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's 1 short. So we're going to want to go like this. Try to get the Great Henge down. Get that value going. This is just unreal. Okay, so we want to get the Great Henge. Leave red available. I can just double stomp to fairy to get rid of that. That's probably good. I'm a little short of doing triple stomp. So we're just going to start with the stomp here. Stomp again. All right, we'll bring the pain. And then the walls are officially up. Good luck, opponent. Good luck. Your go. This deck is powerful. I mean, it's very good at grinding out these Jeskai Fires or Blue-Eye control decks. Like, that seems like the easy matchup here, and it makes sense. You know, hyper-aggressive decks are going to be a little bit of a problem. Mono red, I bet, is not good. Or not great, at least. We're probably just a little too slow. But, you know, if you're going to expect a lot of Blue-Eye control and a lot of fires, this might be the deck to play. All right, so here's Cavalier that does basically nothing. A little bit of haste. I could trade with Fae. I could trade with Lovestruck Beast. The cards that I already gained a ton of value from. So, I mean, that's what we call in the biz trading up. Because all we are doing is just having great trades here. All right. So we might just be able to do the old fling trick next turn. Yeah. Yeah, I think they're just dead. Okay. So we're going to go with 6. So 4. We can do 2. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we just got a granted. Oh, I forgot to have that mana as well. Okay. We could have played Clover. But now I'm going to get Fling. Okay. Yeah. Getting Fling and Expansion Explosion, or maybe they're not even playing that. Okay, yeah. So just get Fling. We already used in a gate, so I guess we'd get a Gust. Didn't really matter. Okay, so this is a matchup where you don't want to sideboard much, of course. But Aether Gust is one card that I'm happy to draw. So we're going to keep 1 in the board, but I'm going to bring in 2. Brazy B is okay. You don't want to go super low on your adventure cards, but I do think that's the cut here. We'll do that. Like I said, this isn't a deck where we want to sideboard a ton because we just want these Fae, we want these wish targets. So, you know, don't go overboard. So I'm going to keep the rest. Makes it nice and easy to play. Well, nice and easy to sideboard it. Very, very powerful to play when you have game 1 access to 75 cards, essentially. All right, I have a good feeling about our chances to 3-0 this time. Jace's dad, 2013. Love it. Love it. Yeah, Gust is like not insane or anything because if they do have Teferi, it shuts it down. But yeah, this is a nice one. We don't have the way to curve Innkeeper into Lucky Clover, but I think it's actually better to save Innkeeper until it immediately replaces itself when you know the matchup where it could die. So we jammed it right away because it could have been anything. Could have been blue-white control, and we'd feel bad if we didn't. But here, it's likely to die, so we're just going to kind of save it. So now we're just looking for lands because all we want to do is hit our 3rd land, so that then we hit our 4th and 5th land. Robert, okay. We didn't scroll to the top, so that is good that we didn't hit. All right, so we do need red now, but not like immediately or anything. So we're just going to play Lucky Clover. Hope they don't have Teferi. Teferi bounce really does kind of put us on the back foot a little bit. That's not as bad. Okay. Now, so they missed a land drop, so that's pretty bad for them. We could go Edgekeeper. We could go Innkeeper and Clover, or we could go Innkeeper and Fae, just cast a Fae. Or we could just Beanstalk, but I don't like that as much. I want to get some value here. And I think the best way to start with value is to do the Innkeeper Fae play. Then at least this isn't going to be hitting me for a lot, and we can stem the bleeding a little bit. Not that we're super far behind, but now we'll have access to double Bone Crush or double Petty Theft, or Stomp, excuse me. If they don't have a land here, now they are probably just toast. Okay, that is good, of course. All right, we do still have more cards. All right, they can Lucky Clover us now. That's kind of cute. All right, well, we're gonna take 2 here. Gonna go with the Clover, and I kind of just want to stomp this now. Maybe it's not really worth it. Yeah, let's just say go. Since we get a copy. And if they play another creature here, we just get, we kind of get it all. All right, so right now they only have access to a Clover, and then they took 2 lands. Worst land they could draw. Okay. I don't want them to get more cards here. So the main one, I want to go upstairs. And the clone, I want to go at Robert. This is very important, everyone. Just because they're more incentivized to counter the copy that's targeting a permanent instead of 2 to the face. And then we get this on an adventure. So very important there. Okay. Do we expect a haste creature? Not really, but there is a chance. But I think we're actually just going to activate this, take 2, and play Bone Crusher anyways. So I guess let's start, make sure this resolves. Okay, so we definitely need a red source. We're a little low on that. Then we'll take another blue, sure. Okay, now we can just cast Bone Crusher and Temple here. Let's just do that. We'll bring in the pain. Crush the bones, do a little scrying. And now we can play Beanstalk next turn. We're afraid of their Fire's turn if they do top deck another land. God, this deck is a blast. Don't want another land. As beautiful as the art is, I don't want it. Yep. 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I am just going to attack with Fae. I'm going to play defensive here because if I attack, they take it and then they like Teferi me or something. I don't think that is ideal. So I'm just going to play a little defense here, force them to deal with the 8/8. Then we got Bounce for days. And we can start bringing back Granted and really crank it up a notch if we don't draw anything. Yeah, and Writings on the Wall, the value there is just way too much for Jeskai Fires to handle whenever you get Lucky Clovers. And if you have Lucky Clovers plus Innkeeper, it's just through the roof. So, all right, that's round 1. Winning against Jeskai Fires pretty easily. Our opponent's hand was not necessarily a great keep. Game 2, but I think they did mulligan down to 6 as well. So, all right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with our second round. All right, and welcome to round 2 here with Temur Clover. Okay, so we're on the draw. We have the turn 2 Clover, which is probably the most important thing. And we do have a decent amount of plays. His hand isn't great, but I think it's just good enough And if I get a forest or like a breeding pool, this hand is just unreal. So no luck on that. The mana base is actually pretty decent for having to run so many basics, but the problem is you have to just run a ton of basics because you search for like probably 4 or 5 on average a game. Blue, red. Okay, so that was great. What do we think they could have here? Probably nothing that counters Clover, so we're just gonna do this. Quench or something would suck. This could be like, is it Flash? Interesting. Yeah, with an opt, I would imagine is it Flash, but this card resolved against is so good. So we might be kind of set here. All right, so I want to play that just to get my value here. So we're gonna go with the double spell here. Have the Brazen Borrower available as well. All right, we're gonna take this nice and slow and steady. All right, let's see what they got. So they're trying to just stomp something. Okay. Yeah, we can't bounce our own things. Not that it truly matters, but okay, that's pretty good. I think that's what we want to start with. Search. The double spell thing against the counter spell deck is just so not fair. So I definitely want green and blue. Green, blue. Blue. Now we can play Innkeeper, but it's just gonna die. So there's no point in that. Escape the Wild is definitely a card that we can probably take out. So if we leave this land, then we can go like Innkeeper and double play. So we're actually gonna keep this. Now we're gonna say go. Have that Brazen Borrower available. Now bouncing 2 things. Okay, that's not a big deal. Good old Rowell's Outburst. That card is not good. Fun, but not good. Dadwick. Okay. Here we go. Dadwickington. All right, so we are going to just get our creatures down here. We're going to start with this. Yeah. All right. The Beast. Okay, now we can just Lucky Clover or Bone Crusher this. Just get it out of there. I don't think that's a bad idea at all because this card can be quite annoying. And if they can protect Gadwick, that's kind of how you lose. Otherwise, I think it's going to be pretty hard. So we're going to minimize the amount of damage we're taking by putting a Breeding Pool into play tap. Say go. And now it's just Value Town. Value time. So one thing we don't want to do is cast Escape when they have open mana. That's like one way for them to catch up, is trading up their mana for ours. Okay, that's good. Okay, so they still have a counter magic available. And now we don't have anything to cast this off, so that's kind of lame. But I think we will just try to jam this. We can play around Quench. And then just play Bone Crusher Giant. Let's try it. I'd like to draw 5 cards, please. Ionize. Okay. And we'll just get this into play. Sadly, can't attack because no 1/1. This doesn't attack very well in this deck, to be honest. But that's not really your big concern. It's just a much better blocker. Okay. Another Gadwick is annoying. Okay, I like this. It's incubation. It's pretty good. So the Innkeeper allows us to attack with Lovestruck Beast and lets us draw 2 cards, actually. No, only 1 card. Oh, only 1 card because we tapped that instead of another land. That was bad. But we can like Brazen Borrower and play it, which that's fine. Or 3, nope, we're 1 short from that. Still think this is the best. Maybe it's a little close with, actually I can honestly see a case for all of them. Like we can get rid of this, but we can't attack with Stomp. Lovestruck means that we can attack with a bunch of 5/5s. And Innkeeper is the best value, but it's the most vulnerable. All right, we're gonna take Innkeeper. I think it's just too good. Then we're going to bring the beats. They can opt. Yep. We're going to give him the beat downs here with the Bone Crusher. I don't really like Brazen Barring back Gadwicks, though. That's kind of the problem here. I think I'm just going to cast this now. Now we're going to save that one. We'll just say go. And now we can petty theft some things if we're feeling like getting really aggressive. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. Starting to get a little scary. Okay. Not much we can do about that. Now this won't be able to attack, but we do have the other one. So they might just jam a couple Bone Crusher Giants. That'd be reasonable. We'd unfortunately just put them back into their hands. Well, I think we're going to go for the aggressive line here. All right, which one do we want to resolve the most? The one targeting Bone Crusher, I suppose. All right, so we'll go here first. Copy. So we don't care if they just have another giant Gadwick. Like, they just can't take too many more hits. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we can just go Innkeeper and Beanstalk as well. That's quite powerful. They can just let all this happen and then just stomp something, which is pretty good as well. We just really want to grant it. I think that's what would throw this game over the edge. Get a nice Chandra down or something. Okay, bounced. Take 2. Okay. So now they can just stomp our creature. I think we'd rather Innkeeper and then Beanstalk anyways. Even if we're going to lose the Innkeeper, but there's a chance maybe we draw another one. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we're going to go like this. I'm going to play this. Hope it resolves. Now, we can just get quenched with this, which is kind of lame, but then I guess we do get to attack for a bunch. So I think that seems reasonable. Let's leave open that breeding pool. Now, if we get Heart's Desire or an Innkeeper, we'll be able to do a little bit more damage. Yep. Quench is kind of annoying there, but that means we get to attack for a lot this turn. And that's pretty solid. The beats. All right, that's 12. They're down to 4. Now it doesn't take too much more than just like a granted to be able to finish this off. Now they're likely to have a very good turn now. I mean, just Gadwick back in the hand, but who's the tempo deck now, huh? Still them, but we're playing a tempo game at the moment. Okay, Dad Wickington. Definitely just for the tapping. We got another Brazy B here. Okay. So now Love Struck is shut off. So if they go for Bone Crusher, they're just dead here. Okay. Stomp, they're likely still dead. They can have like an opt. All right, now they're dead. So let's start with Granted. Okay, couple Granteds. Yeah. I didn't even know exactly what we were going to get, but I know that... Oh, yeah, we just get Fling and Negate. GG. GG. This deck is gas. Absolute gas. Okay. We are up against Blue-Red. What would we like to naturally draw against Blue-Red? I could see... I don't like Aether Gust because I think it's a little narrow. And I like having that. Negate is like something I'd like to bring in, but I really want access to it. So I think we're gonna do the bold sideboard plan. Like this is a really interesting sideboard plan here. We're just gonna click back. No, okay, we are gonna make one change. I think this card is actually kind of good. Maybe. I guess if they tap stuff down, that's not very good. Could see, yeah, all this stuff I just want into the, or as a target. So we're just going to click back on this one. Escape the Wilds is not a great card, but it's just everything's a must counter spell now. So I think it's reasonable. We'll keep it the way it is. All right, game 2 here with Temur Clover. And oh, yeah, this one's nice. All right, so we just got to resolve this Temur Clover. So we're going to try to play Innkeeper here to try to distract him a bit. Okay, that's kind of cool. We want them to just like try to stomp this or something, thinking that we're just going to play an adventure creature next turn, which we definitely might do, but the Clover is more important. So yes, they fell for the bait. Maybe they didn't have Quench or whatever too, but... So now we do need a land, otherwise our next turn isn't great. We'll just drop another Clover, but... Then Beanstalk Giants just are free spells. That's insane. Okay, no big deal there. All right. Okay, so I still think we just Lucky Clover number 2, play the land. Yeah, let's do that. We'll take a little bit of hit. And then we're going to start ramping to Oblivion. They can charge up Blast Zone. Yeah, they chose not to, luckily. Okay. So... Definitely start with our free spell here. We want green, red available. So we're going to get 3 lands. We're going to go up to 4. Then we can go stomp. Yeah, and then we probably just go stomp. Probably want a blue. Let's just get one of each. Go with the rainbow. Red. Green. I think it's just stomp here. I don't want to play Innkeeper because it's probably going to die. We'll just go stomp, stomp, face. I don't want to try to deal with the Bone Crusher Giant that way. So here. Here. Up top. No, can't cast anything else. We could cast Fae, but I'd rather Granted. All right, the beats. Gotta do something about this soon, but we're not super worried about it now. So I think we just want to Granted here. Just the 3 spells is just insane. Leaving open green, green, blue, red. Okay, that seems fine. Let's do that. Search for 3 cards. Okay, now we can just get a negate. Well, let's get Chandra. Do I want to stroke or something? Kind of want a gust to be a little careful. Yeah, let's get a Chandra. Let's get a negate. And could see Aether Gust being okay. Not insane or anything. Let's get a Disdainful Stroke for Gadwick. So we'll get some counter magic here. Now we don't want to play too much into this Blast Zone. So maybe we just go Bone Crusher here. Let's do that. Just play some defense with this. Losing out on a little bit of value, but we honestly have so much of it. So they may, I think they really have to charge at this point and just get rid of these Lucky Clovers and make us play a fair game. Okay. They're going to try to go aggro instead, which might work. We are kind of low. Like, this is 4. Yeah, we could be in trouble. Gonna have to Chandra deal with this and then hope. Okay. Alright, so that'll be coming into play tapped. 4, 5, 6. Ugh. So not great. Not great. I guess we just have to go Chandra. Just because that's for sure uncounterable. But yeah, we're likely dead this game. 3 damage. Cool animation. Play this. Brazen Bar will kill us. If we can live this turn, we will probably be okay. If we untap, we'll probably be okay. Okay. Now we're actually just dead on board if they blast zone here. If they see the line. They saw it. Okay. Well, they tempoed us out pretty good there. I felt really comfortable, but I guess we just shouldn't have messed around and just dealt with that Bone Crusher Giant way earlier. That definitely could have been the play. All right. We're going to take out one. We're going to bring in one Aether Gust because they do have a lot of red permanents. If you can ever Aether Gust a Stomp, it's pretty good value. All right, so we're on the play here. Lucky Clover on the play is like basically, you know, unbeatable. I mean, I know we resolved it that game, but that's what we're looking for. This hand doesn't have that, but I still think this is a keeper. Hopefully it's still good. I think I'd actually rather Temple for a hit here. We don't care that much about the 1/1. So we're going to Temple, look for Clover. If not, you know, maybe an Innkeeper would be sweet. They mold to 6. Another one of these is less than ideal. We're Clover hunting. Okay. No such luck. Let's go like this, though. They're going to opt. Let's get a Breeding Pool tapped. Say go. Likely just Beanstalking here. So that we have the option to escape the wilds if our opponent does play like a Bone Crusher or something. All right, we're going to bring the Pain. Now, what would we rather like to get quenched? Probably the Lovestruck Beast, to be honest. I think that's more important to us right now. Or I think the Beanstalk is more important to us. Okay. Now we're going to try to give the beatdowns next turn. Hiya. Beatdowns. Okay. Now, I think we just still want a Beanstalk here. To tempt this, they'll probably let this resolve since this doesn't look like that big of a deal. But if they have a bunch of counter spells, they're going to deal with it. They did not. We need the red source. Now we could play Fae here, but I don't think it's great. So we're just going to say go. I would definitely block here if given the option. Okay. Yeah, I hope they act first so we can escape the wild this turn. Okay. That's dead. So no attacking with this, but I think it's just escape time. Hope they don't have quench. No. Ugh. We might be in trouble. All right, we got a little defense here with the Lovestruck Beast, and we can play this next turn. But yeah, we're definitely on the back foot. If they have a couple more good draws, we're in trouble. Granted, for like Domri's Ambush or something would be kind of sweet. Yeah, these tempo decks against, this is actually probably a pretty bad matchup. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I want a Granted here. Yeah, let's start with Granted. See what they do. Okay. Yeah, not a ton of great targets here. Trample Lifelink would not be bad. Could just get an Escape the Wilds to try to draw some more cards. Could try to get a counter spell here. There's a lot of options, none of which are super great. Kind of think it has to be Escape the Wilds. Yuck. All right, then we'll play Fae. Very likely just to be a chump blocker here. Okay, 11. Oh God, we might just be dead. Okay, we are able to do this now. So they got a little impatient there, thinking we didn't play a land. That actually is a big mistake on their part. That extra 1/1 is huge. I know I want to block this. Do I want to block this is the real question. I think I can wait on that. So we can go Escape the Wilds plus Lovestruck. We're starting to get to a point where Lovestruck is just chump blocking these things, though, which is very bad. What we need is some Brazen Borrowers. Yeah, you just notice how different these games are when you have the card or when you don't have it. Okay, well, speak of the devil. There it is. Is it too late? I think we need Brazen off this. Brazen and an untapped land. Yeah, I think we have to go for it here. So let's escape. Brazen, Brazen, Brazen! Okay, well, that's not heinous, I guess. We do have Clover plus Stomp Gadwick. And then we can chump. Yuck. Yeah, that's all we got, though. All right, so we need lands untapped. Okay. This. Give it a stomp. Hiya, hiya. And that's all we can do. Please live, please live. Now, even if we live, though, it's like probably pretty certain we're still going to lose. I think that incubation will have to find a Brazen Borrower. Okay, so let's chump. Take 6. Probably just playing adventure creatures this turn. Ugh. Do have one more, though, so it's not the worst. Okay. Interesting. I think we have to start with this. We know what we need here. Really need a Brazy Bee. Okay, there's Fae. Is Fae good enough? What can we go get? Not much. I think we'll have to take that Lovestruck as chump blockers. Yeah, Fae can go get like Fling, but that's not quite good enough yet. So I think we gotta go like this. I'm gonna go like this. Which one of these are still on adventures? I think it's none of them. All right, we're gonna go Heart's Desire. We need the blockers. Now we can play one more creature and then stomp. I think that's our best bet. So let's go with this. Play the land tapped. And say go. So I get to go chump chump, but then Bone Crush this one. And then block here. I think we are just dead to like basically anything again. We're really hanging on here, just hoping that all they kind of have is just 2 adventure creatures for this turn. Which still, once again, is just probably good enough for next turn. Yeah, that's gotta be game. That's gotta be game. If one of these was an X4, I think we'd be okay. Yep, we're dead. Dang it. Dang it. Well, it started off so good. Maybe we have to power mulligan to Lucky Clovers in maybe not only this match, just like against anything. But we'll see. Hopefully we can at least salvage a 2-1 here by getting our last round here with this week's Droppin' Bombs. Don't go anywhere. I'll see you right over there. All right, and welcome to our third and final round here with Temur Clover. We are on the play. Love it. We got the Clover into ramp spells. Like, this hand is what dreams are made out of with this deck. All right, we're going to go like this. We're going to take a little bit of pain with this hand, but no problem. Now, red would be a little bad because we're taking so much pain and not affecting the board here for like, well, the entirety of the game. But, I mean, eventually these giant creatures will do some work, but... Okay. Fabled Passage. What could this be? some kind of Simic strategy. More than likely. All right, we'll start with this Clover. And we'll say go. I would assume a ramp deck here. Fabled Passage isn't played a ton in Standard. Could still be blue-white control maybe, but okay. I was proven wrong. But Clover against blue-white is very good. So we don't have to take pain yet. So I guess we'll do this. We'll search. Get a couple of lands. We'll go with green. Green, I think. Yeah, we just want 2 green. 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 Say go. Now next turn we'll have access to 6. Yeah, we can actually... blue-white flash? Not flash again. Come on. Blue-white flash. Standard is really crazy these days. I left Standard to test Pioneer for like 2 weeks, and look at what I'm coming back to. It's just madness. Okay, Brazy B is a pretty good one. That's what we were looking for last game. All right, so once again, we're going to start with this. We'll go with green, blue. And now I want to take 2 for this, I think. Now, do we want to escape right now? I don't think so. I actually probably wouldn't even want to play Brazen Borrower. I would just want to use the Petty Theft, so I think we're just going to say go. Hope that they play another Cutthroat and we just send them both back to the hand. Tempo them out. Okay. So they definitely don't have another Cutthroat, or they may have just got it now, but otherwise they do that in the other order. Otherwise, we'll just take 3 here and just untap. Just casually take 3. That's an interesting one. That kind of incentivizes us to do this now. Just because we have 2 targets. And they can't recast the Sailor because of the plans. So let's just send those back. Give them a good tempo boost. So 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can't go... If we Beanstalk, we can't do anything else. So we're likely to escape next turn so we can double spell. Ooh. So this is kind of good bait here because I think this is kind of a must counter, but we'll see. We'll start with this. And then we're just going to try to draw 5 cards here. That's the most important spell to resolve. Nice. Okay, so that was bait and it worked pretty well this time. So now let's go. Let's tap this. Escape the Wilds. Okay. So, green, blue. We can try to incubation. Why not? We can have Bone Crusher available as well by taking a little bit of damage here. That seems kind of nice. Yeah, so let's do this. We're going to start with this. We're going to start with this. I guess we'll tap this. Why not? We'll do a peek. Those are good cards. Which one do I care about more? Probably Bone Crusher right now. I think we'll play this land so we have the option to do something. Although, like, what are we going to actually do? Well, we might just aim this Bone Crusher at their face. Because this one's going to go away anyways. And then we can kind of get them with this concealed one. Oh, never mind. They know about that. So we got to cast these 3 spells. Land will be no problem. Escape. We will send this upstairs. Face, face. Boom. Boom. Okay, so kind of a no-brainer turn. We have to start with this. And then we have to cast Brazy B. No. Maybe. I can't remember. No, we did bounce something. So that one was cast. So for sure this. Hard to say that that's a bad draw. Yeah, sure. We'll keep that. Now, let's just play some creatures. Play this. Already played our land, so now we'll have Stomp available. Not going to want to cast that, though. Now we're going to start casting Beanstalk Giants. Yeah, they can have a Spectral Sailor. We're not going to care too much about that. Yep, not even wanting to play it yet because it just doesn't do much right now. This card, unfortunately, like, I thought it was going to be much better than it was. Just lately, this card has seemed so bad in every format. Like, in Banned Spirits, it always seems like a liability. Standard, it hasn't been doing exactly what I thought it would. It's just not a good card. Okay, so we're going to bring the Pain. Now we're just going to hit him with Haymakers every turn. Now let's do this. Let's get him with the old Beanstalk Giant. Here comes an 11/11. Must counter spell. Must deal with at least. All right. Then we'll just say go. We'll cast Brazen Borrower at the end step. We don't know if they have some kind of Wrath effect. Now, if they're just playing Cutthroats and stuff and send them back, I don't like their chances. I wouldn't like their chances at all. Giant Killer's pretty good. It is definitely a giant. The flavor is so good. The flavor is so good on that. Okay, we're likely just going to play Brazen Bar. It's just going to get jammed with a Spectral Sailor, but that's okay. They're in a lot of trouble. I mean, we're starting to kind of run out of steam. They have a lot more cards, so maybe they could grind through us here, but we're also just tempoing them, you know, and we have so much mana. So we're going to just wait for a turn where we can set up a sweet Stomp. And that might be next turn when they play the Sailor. Okay. Now let's bring the Pain. Guess we don't want to attack with these into the Giant. The Killer of the Giant variety. Yeah, we'll just send these. We actually don't care about Cutthroat anymore. We more care about Spectral Sailor just because it blocks Brazen, and Giant Killer because it can tap some stuff down. Although they don't have a ton of mana, so Giant Killer might not be that big of a deal either. The beatdowns. The beatdowns. Cutthroat. So they're just going to try to play it all. Sure. Okay. So now what do I want to do? And I think it is Stomp the non-giant killers. Just because they could trade with both of them, you know? Now they're just taking 7. Do I think they're playing any Wraths is the real question. Like Shatter or Time Wipe. Could be Time Wipe. Let's play Lovestruck. Whatever, we're jamming. We're going to play these two. We're going to leave this behind, but Lovestruck Beast is kind of bad on its own anyways without the 1/1. So we'll leave our most powerful threat, and if they have the Wrath, then yeah, we probably overextended a little bit too much. But a tempo style deck, like I could see him maybe running 1 or 2 Time Wipe, but otherwise it just doesn't make sense. Now granted, this blue-white deck is not something that we're seeing on a metagame, so it really could be anything. But we'll see, we'll see. Otherwise, we're still presenting enough lethal where we're probably going to win. Gadwick's pretty bad for them. All right, and this should be the game. Let's draw something good to really shut it out. Nope, that's not good, but that's okay. So if they tap Lovestruck or whatever, yeah. We just jam with all. Attack, all. Attack, all. My favorite button. Okay, blue-white. Once again, the Escape the Wilds are not ideal, but there's not too much we have. I could see maybe Storm's Wrath in case they like have Teferis as well, or Domri's Ambush. All right, I like that. When it's not so obvious, it's a little better, I think. Let's do that. Let's just take out 1 here, and then we'll head back their way. All right, could be the final game of this week's Droppin' Baums Feels good to be back on Arena. We've played a decent amount of Pioneer. Getting ready for SCG Indy that just ended. I took 44th place. Nothing great, nothing terrible. But yeah, I'm excited to get back to Standard here. Standard's been shaken up a lot, and this DreamHack event was kind of the resurgence that it needed, where the metagame can push past just blue-white control, Jeskai Fires, the world's metagame, essentially. Now, you know, I mean, we found a deck that beats blue-white control now, so as much as I was saying 2 weeks ago that blue-white control is by far the best deck, now that it's actually in a rock, paper, scissors equation again, you know, where Temur Clovers just smashes it, like now we got a good metagame again. So I'm excited to play some Standard. We might be getting to a little bit of Modern next week as well. With the fact that Regionals is coming up, might have to play whatever deck I plan to play at Regionals. That could be fun. I know we're getting back to some Modern action on Versus Live for anybody that didn't catch it yesterday. The video should be up tomorrow where we did an Amulet Gauntlet. If you're watching this when this comes out on Wednesday. All right, our opponent is deep in the tank, using up all that sideboarding time. All right, let's do this. It seems okay. Being able to stomp the turn 2 play is very important. The Escape the Wilds, these are our only 2 copies, but still not terrible. That was a great draw. Just a second stomp. Just controlling those cutthroats and controlling 1/1s and stuff. That's the important thing. Opt. Okay. Okay, now we're just going to go land go. They didn't have it. That's kind of a bummer. I wanted to shoot something there. All right. Now, since we're low on land, we're still not going to do anything yet. But we would cast a Brazen Borrower if they just do nothing. You know, kind of as a little bit of a bait play. But we really want to just land off the top. Okay, Temple of Enlightenment. They might have tried to go the controlling route against me and just kind of take out some of their bad creatures. Maybe switch it up a bit. You never know. All right, let's play Brazy B. See if they want to counter that. Dispute. Pretty good. Okay. Now I think I just want to Heart's Desire here. Could negate that, I suppose. All right, then we're just going to go this. Say go. The beatdowns. Now I think I just want to do this. Cast Lovestruck Beast. We'll have Escape the Wilds available if they ever start to tap out. Giant Killer. Okay, that makes sense why you let that resolve. Yep, definitely seeming like they are just choosing the control route. I love it they play Giant Killer here. We want to have an excuse to play something. Because we just want to we want to open up our turn for Escape the Wilds. Like, this isn't that big of a deal. If this gets countered, not a big deal. Because we just want to escape next turn. So this kind of bait as well, and we're also just okay if it dies. It is a Giant Killer, and we play a ton of Giants, so that's just math. But we really need to ramp a little bit more. We haven't had any of the ramp draws, and this deck is a ramp deck, plain and simple. It's just a value ramp deck. Okay, they're deep in the tank. Our owl is dancing. Yeah, I think I'll keep that on top. Now, I think I'm just going to Bone Crush here. If I escape and they negate me here, that feels a lot worse. So let's just try to shoot this. Okay. We'll bring the pain. And we'll play one. Alrighty, now we got the beatdowns coming. Beatdowns are on the menu. Now let's see what they play. If they ever like tap out for Gadwick, then it's time to escape. Hopefully get 2 lands and Lucky Clover. That's the dream, but of course that's not very high odds. And just as we predicted. Alright, so they can't have anything to counter here. Because they have no mana, of course. Duh, Corey. So let's do it. Escape the Wilds. Oh my, we did it. Oh, we also got the Domri's Ambush. Wow. I think I want to ambush while my opponent's tapped out. Okay. Take 2. Take 2. Choose targets on target creature you control. Deals 2 to us. That was an expensive spell. That spell did cost us 6 life points, but that's okay. So now we can go Clover and Beanstalk next turn. They likely have to counter that. All right, let's give them the beatdowns. Hiya. Would you like to take 6? Giant Killer. Okay. Take 2. It's dead. Damage. All right, we'll start with the Clover. Very likely to get countered. Dovin's Veto. Okay. Now, I would like to cast this and not have it go away. Like, they could counter this anyway, so it's not like it's a foolproof plan. So we're going to cast this since we're going to lose it if we don't. Let's get green. Incubation. Brazy Bee. Can't cast it. Punished on that a bit. We could just jam a Bone Crusher at this point, but I still think I'm just trying to soak up as much value as possible here. So we're going to do that. We're going to say go. All right. Just one Escape the Wilds, and like, look what our board turned into. Crazy how draw 5 cards is a good Magic card. Shocked, I know. All right. Giant Killer. We do not want to Brazen Bar that, but we will once again. Same thing as a couple turns ago. This is kind of bait, and it's kind of cool if it resolves, but we're trying to free up room for Escape the Wilds again. Quench got us good. Okay. Well, that is bait as well, or it's just insane. So we'll start with this. Okay. Now I guess we'll go like this. Escape thy wilds. Don't have another veto, please. All right. Okie dokie. Well, now, do we want to take more damage? They're not really pressuring us, so I think the answer is yes. Boom. Boom. All right, we will search for a forest. We will cast this and cast this. Say go. Now we start adventuring. Or we can just like grant it for Chandra if they start killing our things. An Optaroot. God, this deck is a blast, y'all. I really recommend shuffling this one up on Arena, y'all. This is fun. All right, 2 cards, they're in trouble. Yeah. It's just like, you know, every turn we were just doing so much, and every turn all of our threats like scale because they're feeding into each other. So eventually the games end like this all the time. You know, obviously if you get beat, you get beat, but the games you win, they all end like this. You just play all the things. So, all right, we beat an interesting deck there. Blue-white flash, a little bit of blue-white control hybrid into that. So, all right, we got the 2-1. Head on over to the deck tech here and we'll talk about individual reasons why the cards are in the deck. Why, I'll have to double check the name of him, why he chose the cards for his dream hack winning deck list. So stay tuned, deck tech's coming right at you. And welcome to the deck tech, everyone. Okay, so 2-1, not bad. I even felt like, you know, maybe we kept a bad hand in round 2. Like round 2 felt winnable, and that felt like a match that we should lose. Like blue-red flash, where they have cheap efficient removal for Innkeeper. They have the red destroy target artifact adventure creature post board to deal with Clover, and then just counter spells to deal with the rest of our deck. Plain and simple, without Clover, we're just a very slow-ish Temur sorcery deck. You know, we're just jamming stuff one at a time. So flash strategies, I bet, are a very good answer to this deck. So, all right, let's talk about the specific decks here that, sorry, I'm looking for his name, that Aaron Gertler used to take down the $30,000 Dream Hack tournament. Just such an insane amount of money like that. And just for 100 people, like, gotta love it. Okay, so 4 Innkeeper, 4 Clover. This is the heart and soul of the deck. This is what gains you the value with all your adventure creatures. So a pretty basic, straightforward deck to talk about here. So you have the Clover, you have the Innkeeper, and then just all adventure creatures, right? We have Fae of Wishes, Brazen Borrower, Bone Crusher Giant, Lovestruck Beast, and Beanstalk Giant. This is more adventure creatures than even like green-black adventures played, you know, and that was in the name. So all the adventure creatures serve a specific role. Lovestruck Beast is very important against aggressive decks. Being able to just get 2 tokens when you got a Clover out, and then just have a 5/5 wall is insane. Bone Crusher Giant is really good with, I mean, everything's good with Clover, so I might sound like a broken record here, but Bone Crusher Giant being able to deal 4 damage to something is excellent. Brazen Borrower to be able to bounce like Teferis, be able to bounce even enchantment-based removal from blue-white control, bounce big stuff on the other side. Like Brazen Borrower is kind of the fail-safe. Anytime something bad looks like it's about to happen, Brazen Borrower is usually a card you need to get out of it. Fae of Wish is a very interesting one because we're going to get to the sideboard, but we definitely have a Fae of Wish sideboard, and then mixed with Lucky Clover once again, you're able to set up some disgusting combos that we'll talk about in a little bit. 1 Incubation and Congruity. I mean, this card is good. Every time I drew it, it was excellent because you're incubationing for one of these adventure cards that's very good situationally, and you get a lot of room to maneuver around that. I could even say adding a second or a third of that card. I think it's very good. Then we got Beanstalk Giant, which is just for ramping. If you ever have 2 Lucky Clovers out and you cast Fertile Footsteps, I believe it's called, yeah. Being able to just play a free spell and get 3 duels is just, it's messed up. It's absolutely messed up. 1 Great Henge, you never want to draw a second one, but 1 is powerful. You know, I mean, we chain through creatures so fast that it's another engine to keep your stuff going. And then Escape the Wild in this deck is just perfect because we're already ramping. So if you're just going land go, or land creature, or whatever, and you top off at Escape the Wild, it's not good because you're likely going to have some spells stuck. But in this deck, it's perfect because we're already ramping. So by the time we cast this, it's very likely we can cast everything. And half of our cards are split cards. So like you don't have to, let's say you get 4 Lovestruck Beasts. And you're like, well, I'm not going to be able to cast all these Lovestruck Beasts. I don't have, 12 mana. But you're like, oh, but I do have 4 mana. So you put them on an adventure, and then they don't go away with Escape the Wilds. Mana base is pretty straightforward. Nothing too much to talk about there. Aaron is probably a much smarter human when it comes to the specific numbers on this. So I'll leave it deferred to Aaron on this. And then let's talk over to the sideboard here. We got Mystical Repeal, very good against, these artifact or these enchantment-based removal spells like Banishing Light, as well as Fires of Invention. It's so good against fires. We had one against Jeskai Fires round 1 where we just went Granted, had 3 mana available, got Disdainful Stroke and Mystic Repeal, destroyed the fires, and now they just have 6 mana, and we're going to counter whatever they play. Like, such a blowout. Shadow Spear, this is for either aggressive matchups when you just want the lifelink to matter, or up against Dream Trawler so you can actually deal with it. Aether Gust is great against a lot of things. Mono red, Jeskai Fires, any kind of green beatdown decks. Gruul, obviously, it's very good. Disdainful Stroke is a good wish target. Disdainful Stroke and Negate are 2 cards you almost never want to bring in because there's just a very high percentage of games where you want to just go Granted for 2 counterspells, say go, and all you're doing at that point is just closing doors. This is a closing door deck, and what I mean by that is you're just playing into such a way where you're just thinking, okay, what do I lose to? All right, I want to make sure I get my counterspells. I can play Fae of Wishes, bring it back, Granted later for kill spells, but I just want to shut every door. Counterspells usually do that. Now, if you want to just slam the door, here's the card for you. Fling. Fling mixed with Beanstalk Giant is just insane. You get your few points of damage by just attacking. stomping your opponent a couple times, and then all of a sudden you go, okay, granted for negate and fling, have a Beanstalk Giant in play, fling you with a counterspell backup, and the game ends. A couple more targets here. We got Return to Nature. Great against Jund Food, Jeskai Fires. If you already dealt or you already Mystic Repealed or whatever. Domri's Ambush, good against any beatdown deck. A nice thing to have. Kills a Planeswalker as well when you want to like deal with a Jace. Spyglass when you want to deal with Nissa. That's kind of the main thing. But Spyglass, you know, so many times is that a relevant thing. Stormwrath against mono red, any kind of go wide strategy, maybe mono white, Heliod if people play that. Once in Future, when you just need to rebuy an effect. I haven't been liking Once's Future out of probably all the cards. Whenever I want a value card, I just get an Escape the Wilds. But if you've already used that on these really grindy games, Once in Future can come up. And then last but not least, Chandra, Awaken Inferno. For these counter magics that, you know, are going to just like, yeah, I'll let Granted resolve. Then you're just like, okay, Chandra you. It's really bringing me back to last week when I was playing Lotus Breach combo. And I just Granted and they're like, yeah, I'll just counter whatever you get. And you get Thought Distortion, you know. So kind of the same effect there. Obviously doing completely different things. But all right, everybody. I want to thank you so much for watching this week's Drop-In Baums. This deck is awesome. I'm happy to be back on Arena. I hope you all enjoy this deck as well. It is a ton of fun to play, so go redeem some wild cards right now and go play it, okay? All right, we'll see you next week on Droppin' Bombs.